Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 21st to the 27th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, so Aquarius, this week, another impactful week of November, as it has been even last month in October, very impactful. But this week we have some things shifting and some very powerful changes occurring. So let's go ahead and look at this. The first thing that really stands out to me is that right off the bat, we are going to be in the third quarter phase, which is a good week for initiating some things and taking steps. And it may be challenging or uncomfortable. It's the square, not totally, but it's good to challenge ourselves to initiate. And what we're initiating is basically the things that came to us about a week ago. Last Monday, we have that full moon. Maybe there was some insight at that time, maybe some awareness, and now it's a week of implementing that, okay? Now, along with that, the sun is actually shifting into your 10th house, which is the top of the chart, which is good. This has already been a big key area for you. You've had your ruler in the 10th, and this all has to do with your productive life, okay? It could be your career, could be anything in the future. It could be your public image. It could be, again, anything that is long-term that you're building. That's sort of what you're giving back to society. So it's not always for profit, but oftentimes it is that career. So anyways, the sun shifting into here does give you some focus and some prana and some life force. In fact, to a degree, although you do have Mars in your 12th house, there is this higher energy time, at least cyclically in this time of the year. Okay, and I think focusing your attention on the career or on the productive life is a really good source of energy for you. Okay, and prana and life force. And you got Mercury here really helping you cultivate some of these things on a more practical level. And of course, Saturn, this is saying that yes, there may be some limitations with this. There might be some real hard work that you can do during this time, but it's all for the long term, right? So building these things, career things, productive things, whatever it is, for the long term really is the name of the game there. All right, so along with that shift early in the week, we do have Mercury then sextiling up to Jupiter, which does emphasize this this positive energy coming into this 10th house. And it could be from all these opportunities you've had to really get deep with life. You know, in a sense of understanding more about yourself, in a deeper regard, maybe having to do with fears or inhibitions or things that are preventing you from opening up in life and having that deeper connection in life and really accessing what truly matters. But Jupiter can make it quite easy. So Jupiter lifts it up, and that there are opportunities, and it could be inspiring, in fact, to get deep, to get real, to get raw and vulnerable in life. And maybe even too with relationships, because that's where the whole life path has been taking you this past year and next year as well. So anyways, some good positive support there for anything that does require that. Also relying on others. It's a good time for interdependency, relying on others and shared resources and those types of things as well. That's early part of the week. You may even find too that not only is it easier to, around Tuesday here to, have that deeper perspective and deeper connection. You may also notice too, it's easy to express yourself in such a way, and it could be through the work as well. All right, so some positive energy going into that. Then right after that, Mercury does conjoin up to your ruler, so you could be feeling like there's a new chapter about learning something new, starting with learning, maybe exchanging, giving information, maybe a new chapter involving communication, connecting with your peers, perhaps, maybe in the work sector, something like that. But whatever it is, a new chapter with how your mind works and the importance of communication. All right, so the importance of learning and sharing and just all in all exchanging in life. So that's good, and it could be good for anything like reading, writing, those types of matters. Also very good for setting any long-term intentions with your self-expression. Again, Mercury ruling your 5th. And knowing too, it's taking time. There might be, around Wednesday, a bit of limitation or patience with the self-expression, but building it. In other words, it could be a creative project for some of you. It could be that through this greater awareness of your self-expression, it's becoming more grounded, more real, more raw. Again, it's all in a fucus and Scorpio. And then, Mercury does rule your 8th as well. So a new chapter there, maybe something new starting with that deeper connection and openness, maybe in relationships, maybe shared resources, things like that. So all in all, it is about a new chapter. Again, I think it's all in the area of future things, the productive life. Okay, and the more you have that sort of patience, discipline, and also inquisition, I think you'll notice that a very positive support this week. Now, the most important aspect is we do have Jupiter squaring up to Pluto, going exact on Thursday, but it's pretty much all week long here. This is that, squares from Jupiter actually come across as quite easy. Again, maybe it's just easy to have that openness and, rely on others and that kind of a thing going on with Jupiter in the 8th. But you'll know exactly what this aspect is about when there's this inclination or something really calling you to dive deep with it. Okay, that's the square from Pluto. Because sometimes with Jupiter, we may just be over optimistic about it or rest on our laurels about it, uninspired, like we'll get to that next week or whatever. But this week, if you're feeling like there's some deep change that's occurring with you, so you can strip away some fears. Strip away some, really fears is where it comes rooted from. Okay, and anything that, is preventing you from having that deeper connection with life, deeper connection with yourself, and deeper connection with even relationships. Okay, and so as you do that inner work, but it's really a matter of just being aware of the fears, accepting the fears, and then making the change. Because what happens when we accept the fears is they no longer have control over us. We're then free to make change, right? We're then, when we don't care, when we're detached, then we're free to make the change. And it's a very positive week for those types of changes. A lot of it might have to do with your aspirations, in fact. This has been Pluto in your 11th house, helping strip away all the fears that are preventing you from pursuing your aspirations. And maybe even that have been preventing you from connecting with your community or your network circles or your friends. Okay, so if you're feeling that, it's really about bridging the gap. How can you bring in this deeper perspective into those aspirations to make those changes there, maybe into those network circles to make some changes there, and vice versa? How can you maybe bring in this more aspiring, forward-looking, and community-based energy into what really matters in life, which is the 8th house? All right, so with that perspective, I think it's great for all types of deep change. It's also, I think, changing your value system, in fact, too. Maybe you could be making changes with your sense of self-reliance, in fact, and maybe with the finances and the material security and those types of matters as well, because Jupiter does rule that 2nd house of yours. All right, so that's that square. And then right after that, Venus does go over Pluto, suggesting that there is changes, again, with the aspirations. I think there's a new chapter with this, but with Venus, it's really lifting this up. Venus is about beauty. It's about sensuality. It's about enjoyment. It's even about relationships. And so it's a new chapter about transformation and change with your value system, with your relationships. I mean, that's collective for all of us, but maybe involving those networks or community things. And even too, some changes that I think will be happening with yourself emotionally and maybe with your home or your family or your health in some sense. Okay, it could be a positive changing time for that. And your belief system's changing as a result of this as well. Venus rules your 9th. So it's involving a lot of key areas. And I think particularly Thursday and Friday, just that willingness to see the truth within ourselves. In other words, what's preventing us from making the change we want to see and then initiating that change. And that's a really good way of working with these squares with Jupiter. And then, like I said, with the conjunction, it is starting a new chapter with what is really deep there, what really matters in those key areas. Stripping away the old, making way for the new. All right, and then right after that on Saturday, we do have Mercury trining up to Uranus. So it's coming into a weekend with maybe a bit of innovation, some ideas, some positive things. Maybe it is about those values or the finances, or the resources directly supporting some of this productive stuff or career stuff. All right, maybe your sense of self-worth, helping you express yourself. Again, connect on a deeper level. Mercury does rule the 8th. A lot of this 8th house emphasis this week, but again, it's about transformation. It's very positive here going into the weekend and just freeing you up. And with that, of course, there could be some healing taking place. Mercury will be squaring up to Chiron. This might be that you might feel some wounds about the sense of self-reliance or self-worth. But it's very natural, very normal. Chiron's all internal. It's all subjective. It's not a reflection of the reality, so know that. And also know that you are very good here. Wherever Chiron is, it shows we are very good in this area. We're just going through this sort of healing process with it. So as you do the inner healing with the self-worth, maybe with the career stuff, you're going to find that it's very rejuvenating, very refreshing. In fact, I think with that trine up to Uranus can be a very liberating sort of weekend. All right, so that's the week in a nutshell. The way I would sum this up is basically more of a shift towards your 10th house. More focus, attention, energy, prana when it comes to the career stuff. Let's not forget Mars is still in your 12th. So the way you're getting things done, even though there's all this focus on the future things, when you're getting things done, it's really good to be very receptive right now. Mars in the 12th house is about finding that current of life, detaching, letting the current sort of take us where we're needing to go. And then as a result, we can actually achieve quite a bit, actually get a lot done. And this is also your 10th house ruler in the 12th, which does suggest that maybe it is a good time to have a bit of that presence in your career, maybe reflect on the career things a little bit. It's not a totally active time when the 10th house ruler is in the 12th, but with the focus, with the patience, I think you can find that, yes, things are being built and new chapters are moving forward. And then, of course, Jupiter squaring Pluto, deep change. A lot of it's involving the 8th house, which is about stripping away fears, bonds, attachments. Attachments come from when we have fear, stripping them away and making the change that you want to see. I think it does involve the deeper connection to life. I think it does involve networks, community, or your future aspirations, maybe a bit of home, family. Your belief systems are changing and your values are changing as well, whether they're internal values such as, again, self-reliance, natural abilities, or it could be external values such as finances and resources and things like that. All right, so Aquarius, have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.